Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Geschmack, right? So listen, it's unbelievable. The last 2 days was very, very geschmack. And I just want to share with you here. So yesterday, the schos, as I mentioned, we had Mark Ashkenazi, who's right now in an Uber doing the tech stuff. And an hour ago was the Hebrew Shir, who's on a plane. He did the tech stuff. We were able to communicate through the plane. I saw him and the whole thing, and he set it all up, and he was unbelievable, the technology. And now he's in an Uber in Phoenix doing the. But here he is. He spent over 24 hours in my house, together with Yossi Klein, who just left. They came. They landed at 8:30 in the morning, and Yossi Klein's flight is 8 o'clock tonight. So basically 36 hours. And here's Morty Rubin. The three of them were working mamish the entire day on MDY stuff. Here's another view of them. And two of them were surprised. I knew Mark was coming. And this morning, a knock on the door, and who shows up? This guy right over here. Who's this guy? This is the famous story. This picture means a lot. Because what happened was, this individual was in an airport in JFK, and my good friend Yossi Rudensky sees a guy, and here's the picture. Let me jump to that picture. This is Yossi Rudensky. He sees a guy with an MDY cap and MDY sweatshirt learning in the airport. So he thought I'd have a lot of nachas. So he took a picture of the guy learning and he sent it to me. And this is the famous story when Mo Landy came to the Beis Medrash. I said, "What's up with the picture? What are you busy learning in the airport?" Look at this, 2022 it says on the bottom. February 2022. She says, "Yeah, I was calling myself to learn what myself was it? White cotton." You can even see in that picture if you look closely. It is, maybe. But why are you on Daf Beis? I thought it's from Muncie. It's a Kash and the Maisa. I tell everybody that you started at Daf Beis. You start at the gate? I didn't start from Muncie. At the gate. And here it is. In those days I used to hold the charts. We didn't have the technology yet. You remember those days? And so Bekitzer, I guess it's during COVID, masks, the whole Maisa. And what's very cool about this picture is that in his chos, many people, dozens, I know of dozens of people that learned extra dapim on flights and learned mesechtas. Different people learned mesechtas because they inspired people. But look at this picture. Today, he came with his son. What's your name? Menachem, get over here, Menachem. You come with your father also. And Menachem, you zoich that Menachem is learning on the plane. He loves learning. And Menachem told his father, "I want to come to a LifeShare." So this is their Bein Zmanim trip. Come, Menachem, get into the picture. Let's see if we can get here. Hold on. Oh, Menachem, Shalom Aleichem, Menachem. Here, face the camera. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
You wanted to come? You really wanted to come? Why? It's good? You 10 daf into brachas, right? Shkoyach Mo for bringing him mamish. You know what? I love you, man. You're geschmack. Thank you. Kol kavod. Just continue. We're going to finish Shas together, Menachem. Amen. It all started from this picture. Now I want to read to you this gewaldige email from Jonathan Scheinman. It's a beautiful email. I think it teaches me a lot of different lessons here. Email from the guy you spoke to at O'Hare and how you got me to come back to MDY. That's the subject. My name is Jonathan Scheinman. I'm the guy who was with you on the terrible flight from Chicago back to Eretz Yisrael when they had an emergency landing to try to save the man's life. The guy on my row died. Second time it happened to me on 2 flights. No, not just that it died, it was on my row. The one flight, the guy was right in front of me and this guy was on my row. So I'll recap what I said to you at the airport along with the end of the story and how your words brought me back to MDY. Like many guys in the share, I went to very good yeshivas and thought I was better than Daf Yomi. In yeshiva, I was very into the Kerem Yeshua program, which I spoke about him. He was in my house for a very long time, and I also did that program for a little bit. I even finished all of Kiddushin 10 times over the course of a few zmanim. However, since having my first child, things went way downhill in terms of my learning. I had a few chavrusas here and there, but nothing consistent, and never got back to doing chazar the way I did in yeshiva. The story repeats itself thousands and thousands of times. So, my father-in-law showed me Yeshir and Sukkot Daf Beis, and he definitely caught me on multiple Yetzaharas that I had, that I told myself, especially about learning Be'il and Taisus and doing Chazar, but that didn't get me to join MDY just yet. A few months later, another guy I worked with called me and pushed me to take a free Gemara. Here, another story of free Gemara has nothing to do with, we happened to be in the middle of, trying to get a bunch of free Gemaras for people, and Baruch Hashem, we did very well. And I started with MDY with Masechtas Rosh Hashanah. The free Gemara got him. I did Rosh Hashanah and Tani's with MDY. And this is one of the main triggers for me to finally get a chavrusa again, to start learning with Taisus and Chazara the way that I had dreamed of going back to Baruch Hashem in the past last month. We finished Makis and 3 programs in the Darim with all the Rashi ran Taisus. I learned them 5 days a week and do Chazara and Shabbos. I dropped doing MDY in the Daf for several months at this point and didn't think twice about it. I thought Daf Yomi had served its purpose in my life, and it was the bridge that got me back to the way I wanted to learn. When I saw you in here, I felt so proud to tell you that even though I wasn't doing the daf, it created a mitzvah, gereris mitzvah for me, and I was back to learning with Taisus and Chazara. I was expecting a shkoyach, thanks for letting me know, and keep steiging type of response. But no, Stefansky has other things. He's not a nice guy. However, without hesitation, you responded back, yeah? You learn with him every day? I responded, no. We learn 5 days a week like a regular Seder, but I usually do Chazar and Shabbos. You said back, okay, but Daf Yomi is every day. I don't know what it says there. Somebody put something here. Instead of getting a pat on the back, I got a sharp and at the time confusing musar. I must admit I didn't think much of your response, especially since I usually do Chazar on Shabbos. But then I started to think about those 2 weeks I had just spent in Chicago over Pesach. And if I could say that I took time every day to learn, the answer was not even close. So when you started Bava Basra, I joined again. I've not missed a day since. I guess my musar it hurt him, but he accepted it a little bit. Including the last 10 days, while I'm back here in Chicago, which probably would have had a little learning as my Pesach trip if it had not been for MDY. See, Daf Yomi is every day, even when you're on vacation. You might be wondering, wait, this guy lives in RBS and he's currently in Chicago, so why doesn't he come to this year live in either place? Well, I happen to be like being able to rewind certain parts and go fast in other parts. But I'm only staying about 3 minutes away from the school community Kailo, so I'll probably come to that shir. Maybe that will be my hook to start coming to the live shir. Now, so I want to ask the Olam, if you live here in Chicago, make a kavachaymer. Mo and Menachem Landy. Yesterday we had 6 people that came. We had a guy here. Where is he? Left already, David? Shalom Aleichem. This guy that drove in 4 hours today. 4 hours from work. Past Milwaukee. He said it took him 4 hours to get here just for this year. Where are you from?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, what's your name?
Yochanan.
Yochanan what? Laskin. Shalom Aleichem. And you stopped here in Chicago. Don't tell me you flew in for this.
I'm here in Chicago, but I heard you were in town, so I couldn't miss it.
That's right. Yishkoyach. I appreciate Yochanan. Yeah, thank you. All right. So Yochanan came in, and Mo, of course, and the son. And I told him, Maisa. I told Mo, stick around. We got to schmooze. He says, no, I don't want to stick around. I don't like you. And he drove off and got into an accident 20 seconds later. I mean, that's not what happened. He got into an accident 20 seconds later. He didn't say, no, I'm just tightening it up. What do you think? What was the reason you got into an accident? You got in Dairy Star? You had somebody coming out of the ice cream place?
No, I was making a left on the van.
Oh,
someone told me to go.
That's a hard turn.
The third lane was going.
Yeah. He turned from St. Louis into the van. Yeah. Okay. There. What was the name of that car? You had a nice. You see in the front? Was it scary?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'll tell you before I forget. I looked at the daf yesterday and I was like, this is daf Mem Dalet, daf MDY. Mark MD. Mem is Mark. MD is Morty, because Morty Rubin came. And who's the third guy that came? Yossi, it's MDY. Okay, Givaldi. So, where are we? Oh, in the middle of the story over here. I don't know what happened. So at the end of the day, it was a general Musa on Sukkot of Beis. Then months later, the free Gemara. And finally, if you sharp and unexpected Musa, who here they got you back in 10 day. I hope to be on more flights with you in the future, and hopefully people won't die in them. Leonid, I'll see you on Thursday in Skokie, and I'll make sure to introduce myself, Jonathan Scheinman. You hear that? But Tachlis, Rabbi Isai, if you're here, you also, no excuse, you should come every night, no? I'll give chizuk for the Olam. We don't want, first of all, we can't have English being less people than Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? That could be a problem. All right. Rabbi Isai, today's Gevaldik Daf Mem Daled. And, I have to say, how many minutes are we on here already? No, it's too late. So I'm not going to mention these names. You can see they're on the, maybe I'll say it tomorrow. These are the new guys that gave Gemaras. David Lawrence, Ram Moshe Josefi, 20 and 18. Givaldi, people are mamish. And, here's Philip Byrne. I don't know a guy like that. Phil Byrne, Shkoyach. Who else do we have here? Okay, I can't read all the names. Too late. And this is Dr. Mayor Wickler needs a refuah shleim. He fell off his bike. Doylem knows him. This is, real quickly, breakfast in MDY in the morning. And today, as you're watching the shear now, supposedly Eitan Ogerik, the famous chef, Eitan, is going to make pancakes and geschmack. So that's that. And what else? This is the color war breakout in Chabad in some place. They pretended that I'm coming to give a share there. Okay, let's jump into this. Yedidya Pereira, please Daven for Pedion Shvuim, Yonatan, Usher, Yehuda, Michal, incarcerated, denied bail in Ireland, and self-responsible for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Don't forget the breakfast in MDY is sponsored by the famous Mo and Menachem Landy. Yes, you. Shkoyach. Lili Nishmas Reb Shayla Ben Reb Moshe. Givaldik. People are coming to learn. You're bringing people to Torah. I know. At the end of the day, it is the bagel. They're not coming for Stefansky. They're coming for the bagel. They have in this state. Yosef ben Lili Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef and Lili Nishmas Zechariah Ben Moshe and the Paras Chodesh Yedidya Pereira. Please Daven again for Pedion Shvuim. Yonatan and Usher Yehuda Ben Michal incarcerated denied bail from Ireland. So, Rabbi Isai. Yesterday we learned Tana Rabban. You can see it inside by yourself if you want. Daf Yomi Amud Beis, but our new editor for the Hebrew, Kobe Goldschmidt, who's up now till maybe 3:34. I don't know what time is it in the show right now because he's still up. He just finished now. 4. He's up, mamish, doing charts and all the stuff, Givaldic stuff. Another good addition to MDY. Tana Rabban, Mocher le Bayis, Mocher le Sada. He's the one that does these, when you see the box pop out like that, that's it. If a person sells a house or a piece of real estate, ain't made loyla, you can't testify about it. That's the sugya today, tomorrow. You're biased. If you're the seller, you're biased. You can't testify about the real estate that you sold. Because you have a responsibility. It's you're guaranteeing it. You can't testify. But if you sold him metaltalin, a car, a cow, a garment, then you could. Why? You could be made. You're not Nagev You're not biased. As the Gemara Ma'asher Reishu, Ma'asher Seifa, what is the difference? So we went into this yesterday. We have a guy, his name is Shimon, he owns a field. He owns a piece of real estate. Comes the Gana of Ruvain. That's the second guy. Usually Reuven is first, Shimon is second. Over there, the Gemara reverses it. So we put numbers. Shimon was first, he owned the field. Reuven the Ganav steals the field. Reuven the Ganav sells the field. Why not? You're a Ganav. It's great. Sell something you don't own. Comes Yehuda, the fourth guy, and starts screaming, Shimon, you were never the owner, it's my field. Shimon, in this case, cannot go and testify about the field. So says the Gemara. Now, before we start, I want to ask a few questions. Some very, very interesting stuff that if you came and this is the only thing you heard in today's shir, it was kedai. Crazy halachas. Could you have a true shibud, an obligation, which means, let's say, I borrow money, $100 from somebody, say, listen, if I don't pay you back, you can have my car. Okay? You can do that. You go ahead and you sell your car. is there a situation where that car, after you sold it, is a shibud? It's obligated to the person that lent you money. Could the guy that lent the money go to the guy that bought the car and grab the car away from him? Is there such a thing? I never heard of such a thing. Metaltalin, a bike, a computer. I mean, how is the guy that buys it going to protect himself? He has no way to know. That's yeah. But maybe they don't have a chrayis, but I could put a chrayis in it. So we're going to see that yes, there is a situation that you could put a chrayis into the metaltalin. So that's what?
Publicized. How's he going to know about it?
How's he going to know about it? Another question. A guy, you're going to know the answer just by me asking it. It happened, a guy I know very well. I say this story a lot because it's an incredible story. He put his name on a building. He got a very wealthy guy to come at a property that he owned. He didn't own it. He told the guy, I own it, I want to sell you this building, I'll give you a great price. Right before the guy showed up at the building, he put his name on the building. Okay, he put up a sign. Okay, the guy that owns the building, until he found the sign, takes time. Bought a sign, put it up. Yankel's Zuchmach's building, whatever, he put up a sign. The guy saw the sign, Furish, it's a sign, it says it's his guy. So he bought the building from him. How he did with the title and everything, I have no idea. He's one of these, he's a con artist. He sold him the building. It ended up costing him much more. He lost from the whole story because, whatever. It's a whole long story, but he lost out of it. Let's say this happens. Let's say it happens. So it happens. But the guy of selling the building illegally, he says, I'm selling it without any kind of warranty, guarantee. I'm selling it to you without a price. The Ganav says, he doesn't tell him about the fake sign. He pretends it's his building. He says, I'm selling you this building without a price. Okay, he writes down, no, can't come back to me for anything. And then we find out he's a Ganav. Does the guy that bought it, does he have recourse? Could he come and get his money back from the Ganav? What are you going to say? Of course. He sold him something that's not his. And we're going to see today that the halacha is he can't come back to him for money. Unbelievable. Yeah. I'm just as shocked as you are. That's the halacha. No, maybe Kapi Shmaya, this, that, but halacha, since he wrote, no recourse, even though it's stolen. Akopara. Let's get back to our thing here. So we have this case. Let's look at the case for a second. Yeah, you have Shimon. His field was stolen by Reuven, and Reuven goes and sells it to Levi, Beganav, and Yehuda screams, and he says, it's my field. Now, Shimon cannot testify about this field. He's biased, he's negeh b'davar. Ask the Gemara, there's an extra step here. Why do you need step 3? Why do you need Reuven, the Ganav, sells it to Levi? Just say Shimon can never testify about this field. That it's not Yehuda's, it's Reuven's. Let's say Shimon is here. So let's see. Here's the Gemara's question. V'lukman begazlan. The what? You guys see it? Boom. If you get rid of step 3 and you just have step 2, you have the same exact halacha. Shimon cannot testify that it's not Reuven, that's not Yehuda's. Let's say Yehuda's a real tough guy. He's the head of the mafia. Shimon doesn't want to deal with Yehuda. He wants to deal with this Ganav guy. He'll deal with him. But Shimon says, I'm testifying it's for sure not Yehuda's. What happens? It's between me and Reuven. I'll take care of Reuven. Why do you have to say that Reuven went ahead and sold it to Levi and then he can't testify? Says the Gemara, you're right. Good question. And you really don't need to put Levi in here. But Mishum, the Gemara is the Seifa, Machale Para, Machale Talis. The second part of the Brisa is talking about Metaltalin, the Dafke Mochar, Davle Yush, Vishin Rishus. Oh, Givaldik. Oh, here, just showing that Shimon cannot join another aid and testify about the field. So we know when it comes to stolen objects or any a lost object, something called yush. What's yush? Yush is when a person loses something or something stolen. He says, "Vayli l'chesaron kiss." He figures out that he doesn't have anymore. Oh, forget it. I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to most of us here. You have a little bit of a theft. Somebody breaks into your house. You file a report. Gets here after a few days. You realize you're never going to see it again. Yush. So Yoshi just put, because the Gemara talks about a para and a talus, they put the para in the talus. So the Ganav steals Shimon's cow. So what happens once he steals it? Yush. So says the Gemara, but Yush alone is not enough. Once Reuven goes ahead and sells it to Levi, now you have something else called Shina Rishus. It already changed possession, it changed ownership. So now you have two things, Yush and Shina Rishus. That's why you need Levi. In this case, you need Levi. In the first case, you don't need Levi. Once I'm saying the case of Levi, by Metaltalin, so let's just use the same case. Let's be consistent in all the cases. The Dafke Mocher, the Havali Yush B'Shinu Rishus. I want to tell you a story about Yush. You got to say the story once in a while. Especially today, I was schmoozing with Mo about Remelech, Zisha, the famous Maisa, that they wanted to go in Golos. They wanted to pretend that they were collecting money and then, give themselves Yisur. The local Schnar guys, they didn't like it. So they mastered them, they snitched on them, and they were incarcerated. They put them in jail. And Remelech saw that there's in the middle of the room, there was a bucket for one to relieve himself. And he started crying. His brother Abzish says, "What are you crying?" He says, "I'm crying because I can't daven. We both can't daven. We can't learn." So Rishi said, "No. Just like the Rebbeinu Shalom wants us to daven, he wants us to learn. Sometimes he wants us not to daven, not to learn. That's his ratzon. That's the halacha. Right now we can't learn, so we're doing ratzon Hashem. We should be happy that we can do ratzon Hashem." And they started being happy. They danced around the bucket. Started dancing and ganzerikot. So other prisoners, "What are you dancing?" He says, "What do you mean we're dancing? Look at the bucket. We got a bucket." And they start dancing around the bucket. And more, my grace is simcha. Comes the guard, the prison guard says, "What's going on here? Guys, settle down." So what do you settle down? There's a bucket. You're dancing around the bucket. So the guard said, "Yeah, bucket. I'm going to take the bucket." And he took the bucket out of there. And they were able to learn Torah and they were able to daven. So you see a number of things there. First of all, don't be misyayish. No matter what, the worst matzav ever, you can't even learn Torah. You can't, nothing. People have terrible matzavim, they have bodily things, whatever it is, they can't learn in a situation. That doesn't have to be like that. It could be any situation. Matzav, in a car accident, you can't learn now for 2 hours. That was Rotzen Hashem. Rotzen Hashem is that you shouldn't be able to learn at that moment. Not you, Menachem, I wasn't talking about your accident. So, the other thing is that, but when you have the right attitude, then everything goes away by itself, everything is for the best, and Shalom Yisrael. So, Zok the Gemara. Avaloi mochar, the hadrele, loy. So, what you need that mechira, you need that step 3 over here, the shina rishos. When it goes from Reuven to Levi, now you have change of ownership, change of possession, change of rishos. Loy mochar. If you didn't do step 3, the hadrele, loy. So therefore, I need step 3. So therefore, it all fits in. You're right. We don't really need it, but it just matches nicely. As the Gemara of Sefer Nami, okay, so there's a yush here. Shimon had yush in this case, but at the end of the day, he doesn't give up. Okay, he gave up on his cow, but Reuven the Ganav still owes him money. So if he still owes him money, how can he testify about this? The Miss Gazlan. We should have, let me just see if we have it somewhere. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll have it in the next chart. The Ganav dies. Shalom Yisrael. The Ganav is dead. So if the Ganav is dead, he'll never see the money from it. He'll never see the money from the Ganav. What about the Ganav's Yarshin? That's the next step in the Gemara. No, they don't have to pay the money back. So Nachamal, there's Yush, Shina Rishos. He'll never see the cow. He'll never see the talis. What about the money, the value? He'll never see that either because the Ganav dies. So therefore, L'chayra, Shimon is not Negei Beis anymore. Okay. A Givaldik Amaisa about Ganav dying, or in this case is the head of the mafia, just once in a while. Again, one of these stories I have to say once in a while. I'm sure, Mo, you heard the story at least once from me. But some of these mice is Givaldik. There was a situation where 24 Bachrim were caught in Italy. You remember this, Rabbi Steinberg? 24 Bachrim in Italy. I didn't even say it, just 24 Bachrim. He knows what I'm talking about. 24 Bachrim in Italy caught during the war, and they wanted to deport them to Germany. Germany means bye-bye during the concentration camps. So Rabbi called to try to save them, and he was told that if he speaks to the head of the mafia, maybe he has a little pull in Italy. So somehow he got a meeting with the head of the mafia, Joe Buno. He was like, Joe. He says, who are you? He says, I'm the head of the Jewish community, and I need to ask you a favor. Explain to them how dire the situation is. If they deport these boys to Germany, it's all over for them. Concentration camps, the immediate death. So the guy said, fine, I'll do it, but Rabbi, I want a blessing. So Rabbi Yehuda told him, you should die at an old age in your bed. It sounds like a funny thing, but the head of the mafia was very happy. He thought it was a great bracha. He says, a typical mafia guy dies, what's their life expectancy? 35, 37, look it up. They all die in the middle of the street, shot wound to the head, and Shalom Yisrael, life's over. To be an old 90-year-old dying in a bed at home, not in the middle of the street, that's a tremendous bracha. He liked it a lot. Fast forward 20 years, all of a sudden this mafia guy pulls up to Lakewood Yeshiva, and he says he wants to speak to the head rabbi. And Rabbi was no longer alive, it was Reb Schneier, and he says, my dad was Joe, and he died in his bed, mamish at an old age, and I want a blessing from the rabbi. I want the rabbi to bless me also. He says, it's already too late, Rabbi is not here anymore, Shalom Yisrael. But this is the Meis Gazlan. Okay, Zog the Gemara. Sometimes you have to dig deep for a good maisa. Zog the Gemara. Desnan Hagoyz Machas Bonov. Oh, more take a picture of boy's side. Somebody steals food and feeds it to his sons. I like it only because the food he steals is only by Hashgachas Habadatz. Of course, he's not going to steal like tray from feed it to his kids. Then the top hechsher. He steals and he gives food to his family, and then he's done. He goes to the next world. The children don't have to pay. Oh, so over here you see this idea that once the Ganav goes, he's never going to see the money. So the Gemara looking at B'Yoresh. Oh, so if we go back to our thing, you have Shimon, who owned a cow or a talus. Reuven steals it from him. Then Reuven kicks the bucket. So the cow goes to his son, Chanoich. Why do you have to say that Reuven the Ganav sells it to Leiba? Without doing anything. It's just a very simple case. He kicks the bucket, he dies, so it became somebody else's. Now, think about it for a second. If Reuven the Ganav dies, and it goes to his son Chanoich, is that a Shini Rishus? What's Shini Rishus? It goes from Reuven the Ganav, it goes from his possession to Levi, the guy that bought it from him. Now it goes from Reuven the Ganav to Chanoich his son. Is that a Shini Rishus? Why not?
It's direct to Yerusha. It's like,
so you're saying like one man domer. There's one man that says like you, there's one man that says not like you. In other words, you're saying it's staying in the family, so it didn't really go anywhere. Or no, family. Father and son are two different identities. So says the Gemara, "V'lukim b'Yorish." Now, if you tell me that the Yorish is not like a purchaser, in other words, like Yosef was saying, that it's not considered Shina Rishos. It's not like purchasing it. It's within the family, so nothing changed. Shapir. That's why you cannot say that it went to the Yorish. I have to say that there was a Shina Rishos. The only way for me to get to a Shina Rishos is by me selling it to somebody, not keeping it in the family. But if you say that going to the inheritance, going to the inheritor, to the son, is just like selling it to a random person, in other words, this is Shina Rishos, Michael and Maymar, then why do you have to tell me a complicated case where the father sells it to Levi? Just say the father died. We're already talking about the father died. You're already saying that the father died and therefore you're never going to see the money. So the father died, so automatically it goes to the son. So without selling it, you have a Shina Rishos. You have a Yivush and Shina Rishos. That's exactly what we're talking about. And we have another question. Okay. This is just continuing the thing. Okay. Says Abaya, this who did this one? COVID. It says over there, we read it all in the beginning of the shir. You cannot testify in something you sold because you have a chrayas. It's your responsibility. It's your guarantee on this field. Says Gemara, as Abaya, the wording is off. According to you, the wording is not right. Right. The second part was if there's a metal, you have no chrayas. The wording should be it should be better wording. The question is whether or not Shimon is going to get it back one day. That determines whether or not he's biased. Not if there's a chrayas or not a chrayas. Whether he's going to get it back. The son of Shmuel said, I guess I mentioned, I'll say this again, Shmuel didn't have any children. So how did Shmuel have a kid, Ravan? So I said maybe, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe after Rav was nifted. The only reason why Shmuel didn't have kids is because Rav cursed him. He shouldn't have any sons. But it says a lashon like Bimei Rav, something like that, in my lifetime. So maybe it was afterwards. So somebody showed me that right after Shir, Morty Rubin showed me that the Seder Adar says that Shmuel had 4 sons after Rav was nifted. But I don't know about Ravan so much. One of them was Rav Papa, not the famous Rav Papa, Rami, Levi, and I don't remember the 4th one. Anyway, Dama Ravan Shmuel. Ravan, the son of Shmuel, says, in the name of Shmuel, yeah, that's our sugya. Selling a field without any, you write in the shtar before which there's not going to be a chrayas. You cannot testify. Why? Here. What does it mean? Let's say there's a partner, there's a case of a partner. Guy gets a loan, yeah? Shimon gets a loan. And then Shimon sells his part to Yankel. Then comes the Malvin and says, pay me back my loan. He says, I don't have any money. Go to Yankel. And he grabs the field away from Yankel. So the problem is, how could Shimon testify for Yankel that it's his field? At the end of the day, if Yankel has the field, because of his testimony, then because of Shimon's testimony, Yankel has a field. Because of Shimon's Malva, the guy that lent money to Shimon, is going to grab that field. So he's biased. Once again, we have a situation where Shimon is biased. Why? Any money Shimon owes to somebody else, that guy will go and grab the field. So it's good for Shimon to say that it's Yankel's field. Now he has nothing to pay his loans. Yeah? Again, did I confuse the Olam? Shimon has a partnership with Yankel. He goes ahead and takes a loan. Sorry. Another step. Here. Start from here. Shimon takes a loan. How's Shimon going to pay this loan? He's going to give him the field that he sold to Yankel. So now he goes and sells this field to Yankel. Great. Moves over there. Could Shimon testify at this point that the field is Yankel's? No. Why? Because if this guy shows up and says, pay me, and he doesn't have, So this guy's going to go and grab the field. So Shimon is biased.
So Yankel's going to take it back from Shimon.
What?
Yankel's going to take it back from Shimon?
Yankel is going to go take it back from Shimon, but that's not the problem. The problem is that this Bachoiv guy is going to take the field. Forget Yankel. Now, what's important, that the Nakuda here is that Shimon only cares about his Bachoiv. Why? Because of, we're going to see it in the Gemara before, but the Rashbam says it over here, Leiba Rosh of Leishal. Nobody wants to take a loan and not pay back. He cares more about his loan guy than the Yankel guy. He doesn't care about Yankel. He cares about his loans, because you don't want to take a loan and not pay back. If you take a loan and you don't pay back, you're a Rosh. So, yeah, the whole...
I have a couple million kashas on this.
You have a couple million kashas. I think we all do. I mean, the answer is that a minig is more choshev than a deraisa. That's the answer to all your kash. Yeah? So just in case you never heard the joke, which is impossible, we'll say it again. We said it yesterday and the week before. And then, how do you know that a minig is more choshev than a deraisa? Because the Torah says that if you borrow money, you should pay it back. But the minig is not to. You never heard it. So it's kedai just for you. You're valid. So you see, the minig is more choshev than a deraisa. And that answers all your questions, Reb Mo and Gival. So, Akaponim. Vidavko. What does Amud Beis look like? Oh, okay, we got to hurry up here, no? No, not so bad. We're 37 minutes in. So this is the Gemara. Vidavka Baisi Sod. And that only applies to real estate. Part of a talus, but not a piece of metaltalin. And the Gemara explains, don't worry, I'm going to do this. When you don't mention anything, then there's no shibud on a piece of metaltalin. When it comes to movable objects, they are not, what's the good word in English for mishubad? There's no lien on it, thank you. There's no lien on it. You can't put a lien on a bicycle. You put a lien on a piece of property. Where do we say this, Rabbi Yosef? Does everybody agree? We go to chasanas all the time. What does it mean? Even from the coat that's on my shoulder, and if you want to remember this, I have something that could actually... Here, this is for you, Menachem. Nobody else should really look at this. This is not appropriate for... It's only for children. Hold on. He's getting ready. He's getting all excited. Here we go. You ready? Menachem, check this out. This is Glim Dal Kaspoy. Oh, no, it's not working. Why does it not work? Oh, here he goes. So he's getting ready to use his superpowers and jump. But the guy grabs his glima off his fight. You like it, Menachem? Okay, guy's fine. He lost his superpowers. So that's glima malkas fight. So at least we know that. When you go to Chasana Menachem, when we go to Chasana from now on, and the guy in the chuppah says, you only take guys that know how to read, right? Because otherwise this could be very, very embarrassing. There's a lot of hard words. Over here it says Miglima Dal Kasfei. Over there it says, I looked it up. It does say Malkasfei. Oh, I have to say this thing before the Rabbi Steinberg yells at me. Sponsored by LifeShare, construction management and supervision, and LifeShare community protecting families today before tomorrow's unexpected loss. And Innovations LLC, in honor of my uncle Rabbi Chanan Pressman, and Fischl, the famous Fischl, and his Chusva Akiva Simcha Ben Fegi was my son. And Rivka Yehuda's Bas Yafa Chayo, you know who you are, somebody's daughter. Okay. So says the Gemara, oh, check this out. This is Givaldik. Now, if a person says, Chassan, tells his Kala, you could take me, if I don't pay you all your resignas and everything, take my shirt off my back. My glima al kasfai. Hanamili this nubeinayu. That it doesn't mean literally. It doesn't mean there's a shibud and a lien. It means if I have a shirt on my back, you can take my shirt on my back. What if I sold my shirt off my back yesterday and now today we get divorced. You cannot take my shirt off my back. It's not a shibud. It's not a real lien. Oh, so there's no shibud on metalton. That's what everybody said in the beginning of the shir. Up until now, we're good. Here's a poitiki. A poitekoi is just an abbreviation of 3 words. A person can point to a bike, a car, and say, I want you to take payment from this object, this metalton. A poi, right here, tehei should be koi. It's actually, people told me, and I think the Arshville also usually brings it, that it's a real word that's used today it's like a legal term. A poitiki, whatever, it's like with the change of a pH or something. It's not a poitiki, but it's a fatiki, I don't know, whatever. One of these words, yeah? How do you say it? Anybody know? In English. Mamish in English. It should be in the article. Look. Oh, a politec. Right, mamish like that. A politec. It's a word. It just means that take payment from over here. My time the Barava also avli apoitiki u'macharoi. If you did an apoitiki, you took your slave, and you say take payment from the slave, which is very expensive. The guy could go. The lender, the bank, could take the slave. But if you took a car, you took something, a regular movable object, my time, what's the difference between a slave and not a slave? Okay. What is it called? No? Nothing.
Mark said you forgot to do the Ishmael Simone.
No way. Alright, so do Amud Beis, the quick Amud Beis. Tell Mark he's not paying attention. I put these on the thing too late. Huh?
You did do it.
I did? Oh, he's in a taxi. I can't. We have, what's your name, Tzaddik? After. Bilam Shem. We have Mr. Rabbi Anonymous in the house. Bilam Shem. Wow. One of the first.
I'm not in the taxi. I'm not in the
I don't
taxi.
believe you. Your background looks a little fake. Let me see your taxi. Yeah.
That's a kitchen.
Where are you?
I'm by the.
Are you really?
I'm in the kitchen.
Okay. I believe you. Fine.
All right.
Says the Gemara. Okay, so yeah, like we said before, if a person doesn't have if a slave has a call, this slave owned by this guy, he did this, he sold this guy, a bike, a car, no, maybe cars, yes, today, I don't know, but it's just a regular computer. There's no rumors going around, sold, not sold. Okay. So, how like there's the shuls that you have the old chazan, he's like 90 years old, his voice is horrible, he thinks he still has a good voice. Back in the day, when he was 30 years old, he had a good voice. The 60 years passed from the time he had a good voice to today. So there's a chazan in the shul that he said, the Amud is my Amud. I own the Amud. The Amud is meshubah to me. So Rabbi Zechariah said, it says in the Gemara in Bava Basra, if you don't have a good voice, there's no shibud. You lose your shibud if there's no call. Only something that has a call, like Evan. But a metalton doesn't have a call. Forget about it. You lose the Amud. Okay. It was just a charif is the Gemara. Anyway, weiter. So the Gemara. V'leicha is dilma. And this is gonna. What happened here? I don't know what happened. Ask Mark. Could you ask Mark what in the world? Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. Is that going by you guys also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's fine.
Okay. So check this out. Let me see if we can get to it. Nachamo. Oh. We're having problems here. Okay. Here we go. Everybody say, check this out. We know about the concept called Kinyan Agav. What is Kinyan Agav? Kinyan Agav means that if I purchase real estate and I want to purchase at the same time movable objects. So since I'm purchasing the real estate, the movable objects will become mine, agav, the real estate. How do you say agav in English? On top of, together with, alongside the, so it doesn't, it's not literally alongside, halachically alongside. In other words, if I have a piece of property in Eretz Yisrael or Rabbit Shamish on my porch, I sell you 1 needle's worth, like a centimeter of property, and with that centimeter of my porch in Rabbit Shamish, you could purchase, that makes my car in Chicago your car. Okay, you buy the land over there, Sholeichem, and you get also the movable objects also. Here's a nice drawing that Yoshi did. Here we go. Maybe we should put some sound on for this. Let's see if we could do it. It was a heavy file. Not working. Oh, here. He pays for the house. Just so he gets the goat, he gets the washing machine, he gets everything. Just by purchasing the house, he gets everything else. So says the Gemara, this is mamish you're gonna love this. Says the Gemara, if I give you my house as collateral, I put a lien on my house to pay for this loan. Molandi gives me a loan, $100,000. I say, okay, if I don't pay you back, you can take my house. Not only that, you can take my bike and my car. So just like when I sell you my house, the bike and the car are sold together with the house. Agav, you didn't do a mashiach on the car. You have to do mashiach usually. You didn't do mashiach. You purchase the house, automatically the car comes. So the lien also, I can give you a lien on my house, and then automatically you have a lien on my car, on my bike and my car. So you were saying to begin with, it's impossible. How do I have a lien on a house and a car? On a car and a bike. And here's the answer. We found out one halacha. If you just heard this halacha today, it's worth it. There's a way to put a lien that even after I sell the car, the bank can go and grab the car from the guy I sold it to. The bank can go and grab the bike, the computer, every type of metal because I did it agav the house. It's unbelievable chiddush. Zog the Gemara. Maybe there is a lien on the metalton. Therefore, I'm biased. We're going back. The whole sugya is this guy biased to testify about? Oh, he's not biased when it comes to movable objects. Why? Because he has no connection to them. They're not his anymore. He does have a connection. Because if he owes money, the guy he owes money to could go after those movable objects. So he has interest in testifying about them. Why? Because he doesn't want to be a Rosh. So he's going to lie in his testimony just not to be a Rosh on the Leiba. Okay, it's another shayla. If you did a kinyan agav, the metalton, the movables, over together with the real estate to make a shiba, to make a lien, if he was kaina the real estate, then he actually acquired the metalton. In other words, there's the movable objects are an extension of the real estate, and they become liened, or whatever the word is, to the lender. And here are another few words that we say in a ksuba. Here's the first one. And we say all the time, Rabbi, so think about these words. When Daven was texting and schmoozing, as a caterer, I couldn't stand it. It was like, this is a couple's, moment. It's their highlight of their life. Their moment, schmoozing and laughing. And we have guys during the Super Bowl, watching the Super Bowl in the chuppah. I'm sorry. One of the nursing home guys here in the city. Hello? Yeah. Man, such gaiva, such loud. I heard him. I was up there. I couldn't believe it. First it rings. Hello? Yeah, I'm saying a chuppah. Yeah. Are you kidding me? It's a little covet. Anyway, it's whatever. And then you see like the modern Orthodox, nobody says a word. It's like mamish, they're like soldiers. Okay, it could be because they only have chasnas once every 3 years. I don't know. You have 15 kids, chasnas every shady v'chamishi. I don't know what the pshat is. It's just like, okay. Anyway, I'm going to Skokie tomorrow. I just got myself into trouble. Skokie, I'm just serious. They like mentioned to sit there, chas v'shalom. If you say a word, they'll knock you out. I mean, the Super Bowl could be they watch over there. That I don't know. I'm not going to say I've getting count, but no schmoozing. That's for sure.
Don't schedule the wedding during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you don't schedule a wedding during the Super Bowl. The Yeshiva guy has no idea what Super Bowl. What's the Super Bowl? I'll give him a Super Bowl. I'll bring a bowl, whatever. Anyway, fine. Zog the Gemara. But we say in Ksuva, do the cost of like the loika asmachta u the loika types of the star. What in the world does that mean? So the Olam knows, since we learned Daf Yomi a lot, we know what asmachta is. We talk about asmachta all the time. That's what it means. Asmachta means sometimes a guy exaggerates. Says if I don't come to your share tonight, I'll give you $1 million. And he doesn't show up. Does he owe $1 million? No. He just it's a way to speak. So the chassid is telling the kala, I'm not just speaking. I'm not saying asmachta. You get divorced, I'll give you $200,000. Sfardim, right? They give crazy money in their ksuba. Numeitz and asmachta. I didn't really mean it. All my friends give $300,000. I also said $300,000. I didn't really mean I'm going to give you. She said, no. The loika asmachta. This is not a joke. The loika types of shtar. This is not a document that you find on Google that you just copy and the wording is just for fun, for other people to write. It's not a type of shtar. This is a real shtar.
By Aliyah is a smachta?
Who?
When you pledge by Aliyah, it's a smachta?
It depends on what community. If the mishaberes are $50,000 and up, yeah, that's the smachta. I'm passing right now. I don't want these guys stumped. You were with me there?
There's a Shabbos at the Daven, right?
Yeah. Crazy over there, no? $50,000, $50,000 to the library, $50,000 to the shul, and $50,000 to Shabbos Shudis. Next, okay, $150. This is crazy, it's unbelievable. Yeah, some people pay, some don't. Who knows? If they don't, it's a smachta. Oh, says the Gemara, the reason why this guy is allowed to testify about cows and about metaltalin, because as soon as he bought the cow, he made a flip. You know, these guys that buy cars for a minute. You flip real estate, you flip a car, you flip a cow. So he didn't have a moment over there in between. Says the Gemara, maybe he did have a moment. In other words, he borrowed money and said, I will give this cow. If I ever buy a cow for a second, it'll be yours. So the Gemara says, so from here you see, that you can't do something like that. That's what we call Ein Adam Makna Davar Shaloi Baloilu. Yeah? That's a future. If I'm going to borrow money today is what? Wednesday? I'm borrowing from you $100. And if I don't pay you back and I get a cow on Thursday, then you can have the cow. But I didn't have a cow today. How can I give you a cow that I'm going to buy tomorrow? That doesn't work. So Shmas Mino, you see from me the Ikne, something I'm going to acquire later on. Kono Machar, Kono Vayrish, Loy Mishtavet. Doesn't work. It's Davar Shaloi Baloilu. Says the Gemara, okay, let's say Nup Shari. Let's speak of the Kamri Eidim, Yedidya Pereira. We know for a fact this guy never owned a piece of land his entire life. I just thought this is a cute video to show you. I think it's this one. No, this one. Check this out.
Nicholas Berggruen is an investor and philanthropist born in Paris with a dual German-American citizenship. He has an estimated net worth of $3.1 billion, according to Forbes. He's the son of a wealthy art dealer, Heinz Berggruen, who was personal friends with art dealer Pablo Picasso. The press dubbed him the homeless billionaire after he sold off almost all his property to live in hotel chains around the world. He did keep his private jet, which he uses to conduct meetings around the world.
So the guy has a private jet. He's worth $3.1 billion with a B, but he doesn't own any real estate. Zero. He doesn't have a house. He's the homeless billionaire. There's that guy. So this is what the Edom are testifying, that this guy doesn't have any real estate. So you can't, if you don't have real estate, then you can't do the trick of Agav. How could I make a shibud on a piece of metal only if I have real estate? I sold you the real estate, so then there's a a lien on the real estate, so there's a lien on the car. But if I don't have real estate, I can't give you a lien on a car. So Zog the Gemara, right? Let's do the Gemara. You didn't buy it. You never had a piece of land. Rapapa says, Rabbanan say that if you sell a field to your friend without a lien, without a chrayas, and then the lender comes and grabs it, and then you find out that was never his to begin with, of course, like everybody said in this room, if you find out that a piece of property was sold and it wasn't even his, you get your money back. Then, because the guy that bought it, Bas Chamor, we're going to see tomorrow, is a borrowed expression. It means I recognize that was yours. I recognize. Razvid says no, and this is what I was telling you. If you look over here by Razvid, it said there's a ches over here. This is how we pass it. Even if we find out that the ganav, the guy that owned this, the guy that sold it, never owned it, you can't get your money back. Why? That's why I sold it to you I said specifically, I'm not taking any responsibility, and I sold you the Brooklyn Bridge, I sold you the Eiffel Tower, which happened, I think, twice. Somebody sold the Eiffel Tower. So I sold it to you. But if I write Mefurish, you can't come back to me to get paid. I think maybe Miklab Yishmai, you could, L'chayra. Rabbi, have a wonderful day, and remind your friends to come here tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem, Skoki Lenoyer HaKodesh.